companies becoming or doing business in a more sustainable way. Also in the growth or the expansion, we are helping many companies to go to different parts of the world and do business in different parts of the world, and then also, of course, being more competitive, not only inside Europe, but also in different parts of the world, or comparing us with different parts of the world. Here, this is the structure of our chamber. We are divided into alliances. As I say right now, China, Africa, Latin America, and the DACH region in Europe are some of our main territories in where we are helping and providing help and support to our chamber members to do business, to get partners, to expand. And of course, the core of the chamber are the tech alliances. As you can see in there, we are focusing on different sectors like energy, like smart cities, like manufacturing, in where, well, we are together with our experts in each one of those fields, and we are trying to develop projects. We are trying to help each other. We are trying to grow all together and be more competitive, supporting us and helping each other. And of course, we have the impact alliances in where, like SDGs or climate action, we are trying to have impact. We are really trying to make something for the greater good, and we are trying to do it in the best possible way. The chamber, at the chamber, we are arranging, as many of you already know, a lot of events, webinars, more than 200 every year, with almost 700 speakers passing through our webinars, experts every year. And we are going to arrange more than 20 expos starting next year, hybrid events, plus the virtual exhibitions in where people can join physically, plus the ones that are far away also can do it in an online way. And we are having over 50,000 registrants in our activities, in our events every year, which makes our database and which makes our, let's say, group of people following the chamber a very, very big one. The chamber basically, or one of the most important things of the chamber is that we are a very strong tech network. What does it mean? Well, it means that we are always arranging networking meetings, more than or over 400 networking group meetings every year, in where our members can have access to the speakers and panelists of our activities, in where our members can join and discover new business opportunities, and of course, in where our members can have information and participate from EU projects and funding, like tenders or like grants from the European Union and so on. So it's a really great platform to network. It's a really great platform to do business and to meet interesting people, to continue growing. And then you should, if are interested, please speak with Alejandra. She will be very happy to introduce you or to provide you some more information. Just as a last slide, the ecosystem, the EUTEC ecosystem is, as you can see, we have here the insights in where we are developing our white papers, our position papers. We are having our own magazine, Visions for Europe, in where our members can write articles and share their knowledge with all of our community. Of course, we have the programs like the Climate Action Partnership, like the social media program, and so on, our awards, in free of charge programs for our members that are enjoying those to continue growing, to continue being more competitive. And of course, our jewel, let's say, the Tech.Forum, where we are right now, is basically the main tool of the chamber, and is a unique tool in where all our members can meet each other, can have their virtual booths, can connect with the rest of the world without moving from their own offices. And it's a really amazing tool to do business, to grow, to be in touch with people worldwide. So again, if you have information, of course, you can reach out to me. But first of all, you should reach out to Alejandra, that again will be very happy to receive your inquiries, and also to provide you more info how do you take? So, Alejandra, I already say what I wanted to say. Thank you so much for these minutes to sharing some UTech info with your audience, and have a nice event, a nice webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Federico, for that great introduction. Now, I would like to invite all the people from the audience to share their comments and questions on the public chat that you will find on the left side of your screen. So you will see that there is the public chat. Just click over it. You're going to be able to write anything that you would like to share with the panel and with the audience. Please don't wait till the end of this event, because we are going to be able to see at all those comments and questions since the beginning. But of course, at the end of the panel is where we're going to be taking those questions and comments for giving them to all the panelists. Now, today we have the honor to have the presence of 3 great panelists. All of them are experienced professionals with a great vision. I would like to start with the introduction of the keynote speaker, Israel Garcia. He is the CEO and co-founder of Startup Links, a platform and community that helps pre-seed and seed-stage Latin American startups to understand venture capital and connect with institutional investors. He started his career at Valero Ventures, a Mexican-based VC investing in seed-stage startups, and went from trainee to startup manager in just 3 years. Now he has more than 6 years of experience in venture capital in industry, and he's innovating with different activities and initiatives. Now, Israel, the microphone is yours. I'm going to give you as well the rights so that you can share your screen, okay? Okay, now you have the rights.
Thanks, Alejandra, for the great introduction. You already see my screen there, right?
It's loading. Okay, now we can see it.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, and good morning or good afternoon. As Alejandra already mentioned, my name is Israel Garcia, CEO and co-founder of Startup Links. And yeah, just to add a little bit of what Alejandro already said, this is our mission. This is why we were born. We were born to help Latin American founders to develop world-class startup. We do that by providing them the knowledge and the connection. So a little bit more about this. This is just some logos or institutions that belong to our community. Most of them are located in Mexico, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Peru, and the US. But yeah, just a quick overview of the Latin American startup ecosystem before getting started with the panel and to share some ideas. Well, I would like to start with this image where we can see how it's been the evolution of the startup funding for the last almost 4 years. On 2019, Latin American startups raised almost $5 billion, and the next years, COVID pandemic and everything that happened make or just help startups to raise 4.1 billion. So the number decreased, but of course 2021 was a record year for the region, raising more than $15 billion. Right now we just finished the second quarter of the 2022, and even though it's going to be, it's not going to be as good as the previous year, still is going to be the second best year of all time for the region. And if you see that the third quarter of the previous years has been really good, I'm really optimistic that maybe we can reach the 8 to 10 million, from 8 to 10 billion dollars in fundraising for Latin American startups. Of course, fintech is been leading the way as the leader industry since maybe 10 years ago or something like that, followed by e-commerce, and then we have PropTech, logistics, super apps, HR tech, ed tech, health tech, food tech, and agtech. In my opinion, I wish, and maybe Franco and Fabricio, they know more about this topic, but food tech and agtech I expect them to be maybe just under logistics or prop tech, because due to the environmental situation, not only in Latin America, but in the world, the food situation and the food situation in general is going to be really interesting. So hopefully we'll have many startups doing something there to solve the challenge that we are facing right now. And yeah, also in my opinion, I wish that health edtech becomes more relevant in Latin America. The educational system, at least here in Mexico, it's kind of broken. So yeah, hopefully we'll be having more innovative startups. Of course, due to the pandemic, we realized that we are like, I don't know, like 10 years behind the US. That is kind of a country that we compare a lot, at least here in Mexico. But yeah, this is how industries are behaving, are the industries that are receiving more money here in venture capital in Latam. And this is really interesting. This is something that OLBP research called a Sunicorn Club. All of these are startups that has an estimated valuation over $100 million. For example, Jadu and Story are startups that just became unicorns in less than a month, because this was updated on July 15th. So Story actually became unicorn a week after this was updated, and J2 just became unicorn this week. So this is really brand new. And something that I got amazed when I saw this image is that we already have some startups that are unicorns and were born just last year. This is like from zero to a valuation over $100 million is like really crazy for me. It blows my mind. And all of these startups are 131 startups. And this is the same image, but grouped by countries, where Brazil is the leader, then followed by Mexico, and then we have Colombia, then Argentina, Chile, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Peru. Right now, we have a little bit more than 45 unicorns, because we're not including actually J2 and Story. So maybe I am missing another two. So between 45 and 50 unicorns in LATAM, because this was updated on May 2022, including Habi as the last startup here. And the same, Brazil is the country with more unicorns, and then followed by Argentina and Mexico. And then we have Chile and Colombia. And just for example, in 2021, these were the new unicorns announced, and 33% of them are fintech. This includes Walla, Bitso, Mercado Bitcoin, Clip, Confio, and Clara. So fintech is going to continue happening for at least another 5 or 10 years with the buy now, pay later. Well, buy now, pay later is what is happening right now. Who knows what will happen in the next year? I don't know, maybe Web3 or tokenization of assets. I don't know. So and yeah, of course, we have right now many active regional accelerators all over the region, including, for example, Y Combinator, who has been really active here in Latin America, Techstars, Mass Challenge, Startup Chile, Platinus Ventures, Latitude, The Venture City, and many others that are really doing pretty cool stuff to support startups. 500 startups also. And well, just as to summarize everything and keep it short, the combination of problems, money, talent, institutional support, success cases, governments getting involved, and the knowledge is what, in my opinion, makes the region a really attractive place to do business, specifically launch, grow, and invest in startups. So that will be everything from my end for this small intro. This is my information. This is our website. And I am really happy to continue sharing my opinion in the panel.
Thank you so much, Israel. Indeed, I think that this is a great way to start what is going to be the discussion today about. But before getting into that, I want to introduce our panelists. So please welcome Franco Tadeo Hernandez. He believes in more in social equality, and indeed, that's why he co-creating and funding solutions to empower people through technology and innovation. He's currently working in ET and food, health tech as Smart Foods, Uno, Materia D, and as well Hoggle. He's an ex-Rappi, Despegar, ACDC, and as well among others. Franco, if you would like to say hello to the audience, this is the moment.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today, and I expect to share a lot of knowledge between all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Franco. Now, please welcome Fabricio Goulart. He's passionate about food innovation and sustainable business. Founder of Feitosa Food Tech Award, a circular economy of food by Google and TFF in 2020. He's also a researcher and consultant for the development of startups, educator and entrepreneur, where he applies the circular economy as a transformation to build sustainable ecosystems. Resilient and active in local and global impact projects, connecting with people and business with the same purpose as a big community. Fabricio, it's great to have you here. If you would like to say hello to the audience, this is the moment.
Hello, everyone. I will thank you and Maria and the Latin America Alliance to invite me to share this amazing panel and talk about the startups, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you, Fabricio. Now, after this amazing but brief introduction, now we are ready to start the panel. So I think that the first question that we can use to start this discussion would be, why to invest or start doing business in Latin America? Who would like to start?
I can start.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Franco.
What I believe about why to invest in Latin America is because we have maybe the same problems that the rest of the world, but the impact of that problems we can live it more intensely because we don't have maybe a good infrastructure, we don't have a great logistic, for example. So in different areas we didn't grow a lot. So and that's one part of the equation. As Israel said a few minutes ago, or showed to us, we have very big problems. We have a lot of talent in Latin America. Maybe we are now developing great developers, for example. That is one of the main reasons that a lot of companies now are hiring talent in Latin America. It's one of the biggest problems now to have a startup, because the talent is working for companies outside from Latin America. So, but from my point of view, that's a great opportunity to return this talent, to educate the new talent, because everyone have the talent, but they don't have the opportunity to develop. So I think that this is a way or a view of opportunity. When we can develop the talent, we can make solutions to or local solutions, right? Because maybe the problems are the same, but the actual solutions or the companies maybe which came from outside Latin America to the different countries came with global solutions, but we need specific and local solutions, right? So I think that's a great opportunity to entrepreneurs from Latin America to build communities, right? To focus on the same problems, because just one person cannot do it by themselves. So I think that I'm very optimistic about the future of Latin America, because the governments and different institutions see the same problems. They want to have solution, but they discover that by themselves they cannot. So I really agree with the view of Startup Links, for example, from Israel, where the only way to accomplish what we want is in community, linking startups with governments, with institutions, with people, with different school institutions, because one of the main problems that we have right now is that the university is not linked with the reality, right? It's not linked with what the startups need. They don't educate people, for example, for entrepreneurial, to be entrepreneurs. They just form people to specific jobs that right now are not. It's not that they are not necessary. They change. We live in a world that is changing a lot every time. So one of the main abilities, or the ability to the next years, is to develop the skill to learn constantly. We have to learn constantly. Companies and startups have to learn constantly. People too, and it's going to accelerate more and more. So in Latin America, we live different situations. We have an economy with up and downs constantly, and we get used to that, right? So in a world that is going more fast, and 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 also is creating different problems, and we need different solutions, and we don't have the we don't know the future, right? But we can do it now, and we can bring the future into the present, so we can act right now.
Thank you, Franco. What do you think, Israel and Mauricio?
Yeah, Franco, thank you for your contribution, and I agree with you. And I'd like to to put another point of view. Like we still growing, yeah. So we Latin American was against on the clock, so a little bit late if we compare in the North America and Europe. Yeah, but we have a lot of space to grow. So actually, also nowadays we are the trends of the world to put some investment and to collaborate with startups. You're not a Silicon Valley, but and now you can see a lot of startups sharing their ideas and solving problems to the world. So we have a good food production, we have a good agro production, a good fintechs, and edtechs as well. So now we showing to the world or to the global community that we have the same and ideas and solutions to complement or do a nice job to others, and not solving locally but solving problems globally. So when clean tax with a clean tax and a sustainable tax, and solving and problems in the soil, or another problems including discarded and sustainable solutions in ESG. So we have a lot of startups in working hard to contribute to the global impact, like SDGs and other than that. So that's why I'm very optimist about our time and the startups in Latin America working in a community to solve a global problems.
Thank you, Mauricio. Israel, I know that you already mentioned some of these main aspects why of Latin America, but if you would like to add anything else.
No, but I'll keep it short. Why? Due to the reasons that the facts I share in my presentation.
That's good. Thank you. Now, we were talking about why to invest and start doing business in Latin America. But I want to ask you about the challenges. How we can address those challenges that we have in Latin America.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about the challenges. So I think the first problem and the first challenge in my point of view is the money, the investments to the startups. So we have a lot of startups in Brazil and all in other parts of Latin America, and sometimes they have a nice ideas, but they need money to grow, and sometimes to find or to reach this space, this venture capitals or this opportunities to make money and to accelerate their startups is very hard, because sometimes because they outside the communities is difficult to reach this people or these communities or these angels or banks or stuff like that to help them to grow. I think the first challenge in my point of view is to access the money to grow up.
Thank you, Fabricio. Franco and Israel, what do you think that would be those main challenges to found and scale in Latin America?
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I agree with Fabricio. The investment is one of the main challenge to build a startup and to grow in Latin America. And the same things that maybe can be an opportunity, because it's an opportunity to build a better logistic, for example, but it's a challenge. But when you have an e-commerce, and I'm pretty sure that Fabricio is living right now this problem, maybe. And in Brazil, they have better logistics than in Argentina, for example. But it's an issue when you can have the best value proposition, the best product, but if you fail in the last mile to deliver the product, it affects the overall experience. So I think logistics is a main issue together with investment.
Thank you, Franco. Israel?
Yeah, we discovered, and that's why decided to focus on fundraising at Startup Links, that yeah, 100% of the startups say that they want to get some funding right now or in the next 6 months. So we discovered two problems there, like getting deeper in the problem. The first one is knowledge. Maybe we have seen many pretty cool startups, but they don't know how venture capital works. They don't know what a SAFE is, what say C Corp, LLC, option pool, and many other things that they need to know in order to actually get the funding from VCs, not from angel investors, because many startups get to solve that problem at the very beginning, at the pre-seed stage. But yeah, as they grow, they need to the word that I am trying to find in my mind is that get more professional entrepreneurs. I forget the word, but I remember it. And the second one is access to the right networking. Most of the startups decide to go to an acceleration program because most of the founders in Latin America are first-time founders, at least for startups. So they need to have this network of mentors, VCs, maybe people working in corporates at a C level, So they decide to give some of their equity to get access to the knowledge and the network. So that's one of the second challenges that we see, and that's some of the reasons that we exist, to facilitate or democratize those introduction, no matter what your background is, but focusing on your business and what you are doing, your traction. And if you are doing something cool, at least from Startup Links, we can help you with that.
Thank you, Israel. Now, I will say that innovation after the pandemic is something that is going by the hand of technology. So I would like to ask you, what approach would you recommend to the Latin American countries when building their digital infrastructure, regardless their industry or their sector?
I'd like to ask before the answer, Alejandro, what's kind of the approach when saying digital infrastructure?
Let's say that most of all, the application of technology as a tool. I mean, it's not necessarily that a startup or a scale up is innovating with technology, but maybe somehow if they use it for their business and services, somehow they're going to be growing even faster. So, what do you think about that? Not the challenges, but how they're going to be able to implement that in Latin America, considering the context?
I think that it's a very interesting question because it is very related with something that Israel said right now about the talent or the knowledge, right? Because it's very common in startups because maybe the founders didn't came from the technology industry, or because founders are from different industries, and that's one of the most beautiful things about entrepreneur, because it gets different points of view to the discussions, right? But the lack of knowledge in technology sometimes makes bad decisions, right? Because I think from my point of view, of course, that we should be technology as a bridge. It's a bridge, not an end, right? So to decide what kind of technology or what kind of solution we have to use to develop our solution, and we just first think about what we want to accomplish and how I can validate my value proposition. I think one of the main questions that we have to make to ourselves about the first step is not about what solution I'm going to build, is how I can answer, how I validate my value proposition, how can I find my market fit. And maybe the solution is not technology, it's maybe how to communicate, where to communicate, and the rest to find what solution or what technology use is very related with the process that you need to accomplish, how you want to scale, and which market did you find who loves your product. So I think that we should make the right questions before, then decide which technology use. One example that I think I can share that maybe can be more clearly about the web, for example. I saw a lot of founders or startups that paid a lot to build and develop their own website, to build it from scratch. It's solution from zero, and maybe it can be a good option, but it takes time, effort, and money. And in a world that goes very fast, we need to do it fastly, with less money, and consciously, because that's the way that we have to build companies, with consciousness, right? So maybe the solution is using Webflow or WordPress, solutions with no code, right? I think that's a very good approach to see technology as a bridge, right? And not an end. Having clearly what we want to accomplish, and they deciding what to use.
Thank you, Franco, Mauricio, and Israel.
Yeah, and I'm doing some steps back. So talking about innovation and how they can introduce the tech inside of the startups. I think the way to see more this kind of solutions, like clearly inside the startups, is encourage people to educate well. So the universities and the primary schools encourage them, the youth people, to be more innovative, like giving them tools to start small startups, so testing innovation or creativity inside the school, because in the future maybe they will be more comfortable to use this kind of mindset to change or to open their own business or idea using the innovation to solve some problem, for example.
Thank you, Fabricio. Israel, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, just really quick. I think that as a first step, focusing more on SMEs, many of them, at least here in Mexico, will start creating that infrastructure, digital infrastructure, by using WhatsApp and then accepting payments, credit card payments, or something like that. That's why startups like Clip or Bitpocket became really, really popular, because at the end of the day, most of the, or there was a huge opportunity for not, I don't know if that's the word in English, like bancarized, or people having bank accounts. So, so yeah, most of the challenges are like really a first step, like, hey, I don't have a bank account, so I cannot pay or acquire this service. So I will say that that's kind of the recommendation. And I also agree with Franco when he mentioned the no code tools. This is something that I learned 2 years ago while started building startup links. Like, hey, you already can launch a marketplace, an e-commerce, almost whatever tool that you want to use or improve. And yeah, right now we have many tools like Zapier or other no-code tools that help you connect many tools, so you automatize most of your workflow. So summarizing my my answer, using no code tools at the very beginning, and using really easy tools like WhatsApp or other tools that, as Franco mentioned, as a first step.
Thank you, Israel. Now, I would like to ask you about sustainability. Many of the entrepreneurs and business owners are trying or to deliver a product or service that is already green, let's say, or they are trying to make that transformation into sustainability. So I want to ask you why startups can change the world to become more sustainable?
So I'd like to answer this question because this is about our future. So we need a healthy world to everybody, because if you don't have a health world, startups or companies and people and environment can be living in the same place. So you need this. Um, the good thing is that some startups is growing and born in with this mind of set. So this is mindset. So thinking about sustainability, to regenerate, to apply solutions to be more clean, to more green, and help the corporates to understand how important is to be sustainable, even in diversity, even in the regenerate forests, even in the to be more net zero, or helping people to be more health, something in this way. So I think startups is learning how to help the other companies, the big ones, the big corps, to be more sustainable, because we work in a big community, and startups uh, is helping them to understand how important it is to preserve and to be more regenerative and solving the problems, not doing a greenwashing, but solving the problems um, in the reality, not something in the virtuality, something like that.
Thank you, Mauricio. Franco and Israel,
Yeah, I totally agree with Fabricio. We share also in different companies this kind of view of growth. You know, is a sustainable growth, because we have many examples today of companies with just growth, and growth, but we know we without taking or without knowing the risk in the environmental in our world, right? The world, we have just one, and we have to take care. So I think that today is not an option. It's a must to see how in a small way. Maybe you don't have to be a big company in the first year of operation, but maybe must be in your roadmap to have a sustainable production, to be friendly with the environment, and to be friendly with people also, to help and promote local economies, right? I think that we are going to that way, and I think, and as entrepreneurs, we have the responsibility to take action on that, to help and promote, and also inspire with example. That is the only way to change or transform the world, is with inspire the others with example. So I think that it's a very interesting topic. We can talk a lot about it, but
Yeah.
For sure. Israel, anything that you would like to add?
Not much. Actually, I don't feel myself expert for this question. So yeah, I will say that I agree with Fabricio and Franco.
Don't worry. I think that's one of the most important things about business opportunities and what the startups and scaling apps in Latin America is that they're interconnected with an impact somehow. You cannot imagine, even from, for example, agriculture to IoT, how that can have a social impact in your local community. Why not? So what I would like to ask you is, impact or product? Which focus assures a more effective growth for business?
Can you repeat the question, Alejandra, please?
Yes. The question will be, impact or product? Which focus assures a more effective growth for business? Considering the context of Latin America, that even if you create a service or a product that is not regarding sustainability or social impact, somehow it can make the difference in our reality. So what do you think that will assure that effective growth of business? If business and entrepreneurs focus on the impact or in the product?
May I go first?
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, sorry, and thanks. I will say that impact, and I take Startup Links as an example. Right now, our product is no-code tools combined and mixed, and the team sending a lot of emails. So there's not actually a really complex product behind it. But at the end of the day, I think we are impacting or having a high impact with the entrepreneur ecosystem, with the startups, with VCs, providing deal flow, providing information, introductions, tools, resources. So in order to keep my answer short, I will say that impact, because right now you can build or do a lot of things without the necessity of having a complex product.
Thank you, Israel. Franco, Mauricio, someone wanted to say something.
yeah.
Go first,
I
Franco. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Fabricio. I totally agree with Israel. I think that impact first, because maybe can be different companies with the same product or similar product, right? But the difference between the companies is the impact that they make for the clients, for the ecosystem, and that kind of, for example, the impact generate also as a consequence a community. For example, there are different vegan products right now, or different company from vegan products now in for example in Latin America. But the ones that differentiate from the others are the ones who show first, make impact, and then show it to the public. And when they show it, they build a community that they don't go just for the product, they go for something bigger than themselves. That is the impact in environment. So I totally agree that impact first, of course, with a good product, and this can together make a sustainable growth, no? As we talked a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Mauricio.
Yeah. So I think the best word is gonna be the business impact and the product impact products, something like that. So something we create a good impact in the environment, in the business. So I'm looking the some startups. They create a solution to, for example, observe the batteries from green cars, for example. But the cars is a business that create a positive impact in the environment. But someone need to create a business to observe the batteries from that cars and try to regenerate or recycle or do something new and create value. That's a impact business, or yeah, something to create more responsibility business to others. And I think impact is something sometimes hard because they have a slowly return of budget. They had sometimes is more slow to create like return about your investment, but in the future or is better because create a good environment and create a linear returns for everybody, for the community, for the environment, and for the business. I think the people is more consciously and create more awareness about business impact. They don't want a future with a lot of companies creating negative impact to their community. They looking the farmers, they looking the cities, and we're talking about the smart city as well. So if these startups grow in the any scale their business and focus it in the business impact, we will have in the future a good or better world to everybody making a green business to us. So something amazing. We have to wait for the startups and help them to scale their business impact as the green business in this new economy.
Thank you, Mauricio. I would like to remind the audience that if you would like to share your questions, you need to write them on the public chat, okay? So don't use the raise hand option, just go directly to the public chat and you're gonna be able to share with the panel all your questions and comments. And indeed, I would like to take one of the questions that is on the chat. The problems, Henning is saying, if he understood well, the problems are the same for startups, but the development of trends in Latin America is different? What do you think?
I will say that compared to where, or depending to what country or region we are comparing, but I guess yes. For example, I use this example of people without bank accounts. It's something that here is like normal, but if you live in a country where most people has a bank account, it's like okay, you think that that happens also here, but it's like okay, if you want to have an e-commerce, you gotta add to your solution a cash payment with OXXO or with 7-Eleven or whatever, or you're going to be losing maybe 50% of your potential customers. So I will say yes. Trends are kind of different. We are still with fintech stuff, as we saw, e-commerce. But yeah, I think we're just between 5 and 10 years behind or developed countries or region as the US or the other regions. But yeah, eventually we're going to be solving kind of those challenges that we currently don't have in the future.
Yeah. Just to about the Henning, I think did this question, and I think it's the same. I agree with Israel, and we have another thing in Latin America, very peculiar. It's about our culture, and sometimes our culture impact in this this mindset to see about the development of trends. Sometimes something works very well in North America or in Europe, but when we try to apply in Latin America, it's totally different. People cannot see value or don't understand how will help them to improve their day, or sometimes doesn't work in here. We have to create a new thing or a new trend to cover their needs. Yeah.
Thank you, Mauricio. Danko, would you like to add anything else?
No, nothing to add. I totally
Okay.
agree with Bob.
Thank you. Now, I want to ask you for that advice that you will give to all those that are part of the audience and are trying to innovate. What would be that advice that you will give them? Briefly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can say something very briefly. I think that the first step is to know what you want, right? I think that first one to take the first step to build your own startup is to know what you want, right? To come the decision from inside you, and with consciousness. I think that consciousness is it will be one of the main skills, or the main skill for the next years, to build startups with the point of view of people first, right? Or people and environment first. I think that that's the way to create the future of startups.
Thank you, Franco. Mauricio and Israel, what advice you will give?
Oh no, I don't have too much to. I agree with Franco. It's okay.
Thank you.
I will say understand the game. In this case, the venture capital. It's like, hey, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. It's like saying, hey, I've been playing football my entire life, and now I want to play basketball. It's not going to be the same. You need to understand the rules of the game in order to actually be a good player. That's kind of the same. Understand how startups and venture capital work. And then many people say that venture capital is a business of people. It took me a couple of years to agree with that. Now it's really clear to me that it actually is a business of people. Depending of who you know, is going to be how easy most of the time or complicated situations or things get for you. They might apply for funding, for developing product, getting access to an investor, accelerator, sales, or whatever thing you're trying to achieve. If you know someone, it's going to be easier, at least here in LATAM. I don't say that that's the perfect thing to do or the perfect way in my mind of how that should be working, but it's how it's happening right now.
Thank you, Israel. I think that I'm going to be using what you just said to conclude this webinar, because unfortunately we are arriving to the end of this webinar. Of course, we can continue talking and talking, as Franco was saying, for hours and days. But today the time ran out. So I just want to encourage everyone from the audience to get in touch with Fabricio, with Franco, with Israel about what you can do next. I mean, these spaces is to share knowledge, to create awareness, to get to know different people. But it's not just about having a nice conversation. It's about how we can join forces and how we can work together. So I really encourage you to get in touch with each other. If you want me to do that introduction, I will be happy to do that, so just let me know. But before finishing and concluding today's webinar, I want to share my screen because I have a surprise for the panelists. So if you can please let me know if you can see my screen, that would be great. Can you see it?
Perfect.
Hello?
Yeah, yes, I'm seeing. Nice. Oh, a trip for Fabricio Goulart.
Yes. So as a chamber, we believe that it's not just about the business opportunities. We would like to be part of the change, and we would like to make an impact somehow. That's why for each of the panelists that join us for the webinars, we deliver and we plant a tree in Africa, currently in Africa, but we do as well as worldwide. And that means that we're going to have one tree for Fabricio Goulart. Thank you so much for being here, Fabricio.
Thank you so much to invite me. I'm very glad.
Us too. One tree for Israel Garcia. So much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the knowledge that you have been sharing. It has been amazing to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra. And it's a really interesting dynamic.
And one tree for Franco. Thank you so much, Franco, as well, for all the insights and all the passion. I really would like to thank each one of you because the conversation has been amazing. All the insights, Fabricio, Franco, and Israel, thank you once again. I hope that this will not be just this time, but you will continue coming to our digital talks. And once again, thank you to the audience for being part of this event.
Thank you, Alejandra.
So much, Maria.
Thank
Thank you so much, Mauricio and Israel. It was sure to share today with you.
Thank you so much.
I just would like to say something very quickly. I know our time is over, but I'd like to say the local actions create a global impact. So encourage our local startups and help them to improve their business to create local actions in a global impact. That's my quote.
Thank you so much, Fabricio. Thank you for that. Hey, and if you would like to continue this conversation and you would like to get in touch with our panelists, in 1 week, we're going to have a networking meeting. So if you would like to participate, let me know. I will send you the details. Hopefully, we're going to have Fabricio, Franco, and Israel if they're not so busy. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week. And remember that technology applies. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you, Maria.
Bye-bye.